Welcome to the awards ceremony for the Minnesota Watercolor Society's Fall Show. I'd like to thank everybody that supports WBCA and makes this possible. First of all, I'd like to thank our premier sponsors. Our platinum sponsors are Emergency Contractor Services Incorporated, New Studio Architecture, Real Precision Manufacturing Corporation, Schweeder's Building Supply Construction Incorporated, and Schweeder's Pottery. Our gold sponsors are Boehm and Berencher, Mueller Memorial, Steve Goranson Video, and the Pillars of White Bear Lake. And this activity is made possible by the voters of Minnesota through a Minnesota State Arts Board Operating Support Grant, thanks to a legislative appropriation from the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, and in part by the Manitou Fund. I would like to introduce Janet Bates. She is the current chairman of the Fall Minnesota Watercolor Society show, and she is a retired communication and marketing director and writer. She worked for herself for 26 years, is that correct?
Yes.
And she's just come into watercolor in the last few years.
Thank you, Danielle. It's really hard to believe that it was less than a year ago that Danielle and I actually met in person, face to face, to discuss having a fall show at the beautiful White Bear Center for the Arts. Unfortunately, by May, we realized that that wasn't going to be a reality. So Danielle very graciously and very helpfully helped us put together this virtual show you're going to see today. So I do want to thank her and the entire organization for helping us with this. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with the Watercolor Society, it was founded in 1982 and currently has about 300 active members. Our members range from beginners like myself, who started out with a community ed class, to some internationally renowned professional artists. So we're very happy to have our diverse membership. We generally meet every month, pre-COVID in Edina, and now we have switched to a virtual online format. Every year we also sponsor 2 annual workshops, bringing in artists from around the country, and we have 2 annual shows. If you'd like to learn more about the Watercolor Society or consider joining, our website's shown there on the screen, minnesotawatercolors.com. Now a little bit about the fall show. As I said, we have 2 shows every year. Our spring show is a traditional juried show, but our fall members exhibition is open to everyone in the organization who is an active member. And this provides all members at all skill levels the opportunity to learn what it's like to enter a show, to learn what it takes to create a painting that's show-worthy, and to present a painting that is show-worthy. We always do have a professional artist judge the show, and traditionally it's how we've kicked off our new year. Unfortunately, we can't have our beautiful gallery reception this year, but we're very excited to be able to continue this tradition of a fall show, doing it online. And now I'd like to introduce our fall judge, Cris Franchevich. Cris is an architect and a visual artist. She's a native of Brazil and has been living in the United States for over 20 years. She teaches locally and abroad and does a variety of classes and workshops. And to see Cris's arts and to learn about her classes and workshops, I put her website up there on the screen so you can check things out. So Cris, I think everyone is interested in finding out what you thought of the 62 entries we had in this year's show and which of those you feel are worthy of an award. So I'm going to turn it over to Cris now.
Hello. I am very pleased to see so many artists taking part of this juried exhibition. From my perspective as a juror, it is wonderful to see all the enthusiasm for the watercolor media. That being said, it's also a very difficult task to select only 10 out of so many submissions. Looking from the artist's perspective, it's either very flattering for the ones that were selected, of course, or frustrating if you're not picked. I want to point out art is very subjective and it's hard to select between distinct and unique pieces of art. So let's hope this kind of competition inspires us as artists to keep painting and participating in more competitions. Let us take this opportunity as an incentive to propel the artistic careers in each one of us and to grow and be even more creative. So now let's take a look at all the great work. I will start with the honorable mention, and it goes to Karen Stulhfeier, and her piece is called Minnehaha Falls. It is a loose technique that expresses total control of the watercolor technique. It creates a fresh look, yet applied with knowledge and attention. It gives us a good understanding of how a focal point works within a painting. The next one, it is also a honorable mention, and it goes to Karlvn Eckman, and it's called Tinker Tot Drive In. This painting uses a beautiful and limited palette that holds the composition together. It gives the viewer a feeling of nostalgia, perhaps. The values are working so well with the lightest light right against the darkest darks. It's very well executed. Now let's move on to our third honorable mention. It goes to Missy Moore. It's called Doodles. It's a lovely balance of color, very colorful, and balance of colors and tones, and a great use of composition to support the subject. It's free and loose, yet in control of the technique. It's fun, colorful, almost cartoonish piece, but put a smile on my face, which is much needed lately. Let's move on now to the awards of merit, and I have the Mary Deziel. Balboa Island Boats is the name of this piece. And it's simple yet strong. This painting is very strong. The subject is secondary to the composition, with the geometric shapes carefully planned around the composition. Simple, strong tonal values and colors were very well crafted, and it's a very thoughtful process, very well done. Let's move on to the next piece. It's from Lucy LeMay. It's called Orchid Study. And color is what I think when I look at this piece. It's what jumps at me. The beautiful hues enhance each other, making our eyes kind of bounce around. The work almost work like music to me. The lack of a background is an asset here, not really needed. It's a great composition. The patterns create as the petal nuances of reds and pinks and violets, and all the movement, the way it's flowing is very, very beautiful. Now we're gonna go to third honors, and it goes to Rusted Out, Stephen Lackore. The artist's way to portray stillness in this composition capture a moment of true beauty, yet still the boat's reflection in the water and the shape surrounding it, all the shape of the actual water surrounding it, counterbalances the static pose of this main subject. It's almost like magic, you know, the movement appears for something that's supposed to be so still. Let's move on to our next winner. It's second honors, and it's called Winter Ice, Heidi Nelson. The quality of artistic composition and the design fits the theme so well. I look at this work and I'm transported to this peaceful place. The colors enhance each other, and the artist played with depth very well. There's hierarchy in all the planes that move our eyes, you know, to the right direction. Now let's go to our first honors, and it's Undulation and Legeros. Very skillfully made. This piece tells not only what the artist is representing it here, but also how the artists feel. the balance between the stillness of the rocks and the leaves in contrast with the movement of water is outstanding. We can almost hear the sounds, the wind and the water. It is a relatively common subject painted in a different way, a very complex way. That's what's making the artwork so interesting, this contradiction between the simple and the complex, all at the same time. Now we have the Founders Award, and it's called Feeling Blue by Sue Olson. And movement is the first word that comes to my mind when I look at this painting. The energetic strokes match the theme, and the composition very well planned here. You can feel the very rough weather and the rhythm of time passing by, the seasons and the rust. Is a very nice dynamic composition. And now let's go to the best of show. It's called First Sip. Is by Tara Sweeney. I see the subtle palette of colors that are slowly discovered as I look to this at this piece. Turns the theme also more intriguing to the viewer. The piece and harmony can provoke and instigate a deeper look at the human condition. The artist demonstrate a unique voice and style that is perfected throughout the technique, arranging the tonal values, the colors, and the composition at its best.
I was just going to say, thank you so much for your insightful commentary. It was really interesting to hear about your choices and what you saw in each pieces, or what you heard, or what you felt. It was really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
appreciate the opportunity.
We're so glad you agreed to do this, Cris. I must say I love hearing when the judge talks about each painting, because as a new painter, it helps me learn what makes a painting wonderful and what catches someone's eye about composition and color and technique. So hearing those judges' comments, I think, can be very beneficial for all artists. So thank you so much.
And I learned from it too, so I appreciate it. Helped me learn.
I'd also like to thank the Minnesota Watercolor Society for working with us. It's just really wonderful to have you, and I'm so glad that we were able to move this online, and hopefully we'll have people all over the world looking at this show too. So
I hope so too, and I hope someday, Danielle, we're able to hang a show in your beautiful gallery.
yes.